If you're looking to take down Omega and Savage Omega in Monster Hunter Wilds in the new Final Fantasy XIV collaboration, then you're in the right place. We've been grinding, farming, and doing runs back to back to gather all of the tips and tricks and things like that that we wish we knew sooner to really help us with taking this thing down reliably. There's quite a few mechanics and things to get to grips with, so let's run through everything you need to know in order to take it down. We're going to start with something that you may not have expected, and it's the fact that support hunters are actually really good now, especially for this hunt. This is even more important if you're playing solo or duo, so don't sleep on the support hunters. The fight itself is meant to be done in a group of players, with a tank to take aggro, someone potentially healing with wide range and other skills, and then some DPS hunters. But the latest patch actually made support hunters very much improved and viable, especially for this fight. This is especially true for our MVP support hunter Alyssa, so when you go to post the quest, make sure to select support hunters in the quest menu. You can do this by going into the settings of the quest before the hunt, and then go to the options and select support hunters only. At the bottom, you can then select the specific support hunters that you want to bring. Alyssa is really good, as she will tank for you, take Enmity, which is aggro that we'll talk about soon, and is overall quite the MVP if you want to focus on dealing damage, which you probably should. Rosso is also okay at getting damage down, but you may want to take the new support hunter Kai, as he has a hunting horn, will drop echo bubbles everywhere to buff you, and just generally will give you a lot of buffs. So try bringing these on your next hunt, they will really help. There are quite a few unique mechanics in this Omega fight, so here's some things to look out for. First of all, having an Enmity tank is going to be really helpful. Similar to Behemoth in World, Enmity is back, and if you don't know what that is, it basically is a form of aggro. It's what makes the monster focus on you instead of other people. It will pop up on the side of the screen, as well as having a red line towards the monster to show who currently has the aggro or enmity. Generally speaking, whoever keeps repeatedly attacking the monster's head will get the enmity, causing it to focus on you. You generally want to have someone with a shielded weapon, like a lance or gun lance, as this will really help keep them alive when they take that aggro, so the rest of the team can focus on dealing damage. When your tank or dedicated player then has enmity, the other players in the group should focus on attacking the monster's legs to not take the enmity back by accidentally hitting the head. Now, a huge mechanic of this fight that makes it significantly easier is knowing how and when you can get the shield. This is a vital mechanic, especially for the Savage version, enabling you to mitigate damage from a lot of its moves while still allowing you to DPS freely and have more windows to do it. The thing is, you can get the shield in a variety of different ways. One way that you want to really keep an eye out for is when the head is a weak point or can be wounded. This is when the head has the little red sparkling effect on it. This triggers quite often when doing laser attacks from its head, but it may have a slight internal cooldown, so you can't do it back to back to back. But generally, if it does the split laser or the massive singular laser out of its head, you then want to do a focus strike as soon as possible when that move completes or during it, in order to not only get a weak point attack, but also get a shield afterwards. Another method is through these special slinger pods that you can sometimes find around the stage. Look out for this little pile of rubble, because picking this up will give you a shield generator that you can then shoot anywhere on the ground to create a small shield, which is very useful because you can choose the placement of it. And then you have the glowing mini Omega robots. Sometimes when Omega spawns a load of mini little robots, one of them might be glowing. This means it will spawn a shield if you kill it before it blows itself up. So make sure to go over to it and attack it in order to get that shield. Outside of this, the Nasilla clone will create a bigger shield when slain, and this is required to beat the third phase while Omega is charging its super laser. It's recommended to take a secondary weapon with a fire element on it, as that is what this Nasilla clone is weak to. This is basically a DPS phase that you must clear in order to win the hunt. When it comes to shields in general though, they will block a lot of different attacks, including the lasers, the missiles, and so on. But physical attacks like a leg slam or charge will go through it, so bear that in mind when you're inside the shield. There are other mechanics and moves to look out for. For example, pay close attention to if you are the target of the mustard bomb fire attack. The indicator for this is a pulsing circle on you that will move with you. You want to run far away from your team, ideally to the edge of the stage, as this will create an AoE persistent fire field that does a lot of damage very quickly to anyone in it. You don't want these to pile up around where you're fighting the monster, so if you ever see this, run away as far as you can to the edge of the stage. Another attack to look out for is the MIRV missiles. These will absolutely clap you, as this is another attack that you need to keep mobile and run away from if you are being targeted. It will send out repeated missiles up to 4 back to back to back. So keep on moving or guarding if you can, and you'll be safe. But if you want to guard this, you probably need someone else healing you. It's important to note that if someone has Enmity, they will be the target of the missiles. If no one has Enmity, it seems to target every player, which can be very difficult. Sometimes Omega will launch a variety of giant rocket fists. These will chase down each member of the party and eventually knock into you for high damage. You can either dive to avoid these or actually attack them, and this will cause them to disappear. Finally, towards the later sections of the fight, Omega will drop a debuffing orb that will cause you to lose some of your maximum health. There's no timer on this, so make sure to not get hit, and it will gradually go away if you are not the target of the enmity. But getting repeated stacks of these will massively lower your maximum health, so watch out. There is a few skills that will really make a difference and make it a lot easier. If you're using a shielded weapon, Guard Up allows you to guard all attacks without worrying too much, so long as you have stamina or health, so Guard Up is going to be really good. Wide Range will make team play much easier if someone brings this, so you can top each other up or have a dedicated healer role in the hunt. And it's good to know that Omega is weak to Thunder, while the Nasilla clone is weak to Fire, so bringing a Thunder and a Fire weapon is going to be very handy. Here's some general tips to help you beat the Savage mode of Omega. Blocking is going to be even more important than in the normal mode, and one good example of this is the Ground Fire AoE attack. You can just roll out of this based on the pattern of the AoE, but it's also very easy to just block both of these to remain safe. You want to always use your Pictomancer spells when they're off cooldown for a good burst of damage. It's surprisingly decent, especially against the mini AoE robots and fists, as it can take them out quite quickly. Also, watch out for the double dash attack in Savage mode, as this will absolutely clap you if you get hit by one of the legs while it moves. The environmental traps are absolutely incredible to take advantage of, and you should always aim to use them. You get a ton of additional damage and extra damage windows by dropping these things on Omega. There's plenty of them in each area after the first zone, and it's much easier to consistently get all of them if a player with Enmity moves towards them, so Omega will follow, and then other players can drop them on him. It's also good to note that the Savage version will actually heal its wounds if you don't pop them quick enough. So when you see a wound available to destroy, do it quickly before it heals. If you or any other DPS players are in the group, you want to always be focusing on the legs. This is because wounding the legs while it's in the Pantocrator mode, which is essentially its enraged mode, will cause it to revert back to normal. So always have the DPS focusing the legs, which they should be doing anyway. If you've already taken out the normal version of Omega a few times, you may have already made its armor set. Well, the 4-piece bonus gives you the Blackest Night item skill. You can even apply this on a radial menu to use with your weapon drawn, and it gives you a panic button as it creates a barrier around you and lets you counterattack afterwards for massive damage. This lets you tank things that might otherwise kill you, and you can use it with any weapon. It doesn't have to be just with the greatsword, you can use this on anything. But do watch out, because after doing the counter, you will be on extremely low HP. And finally, the most important tip of them all, make sure to use your capture net on a Cactuar so you can capture it as part of your endemic life collection. It seems to only be available during the hunt itself, and it can be quite dangerous to do this. But if you don't capture it here, you just might miss out. Now, have you got any other tips or tricks to help everyone take down Omega and Savage Omega in Monster Hunter Wilds? Put them down in the comments below so we can all learn together, and subscribe for more coming your way very, very soon. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.